Welcome into the Farzy Show, everybody. Brought to you by Destination Retirement, DestinationRetirement.com. And we're coming to you live as we do every weekday at 6 a.m. from the Steven Singer Studios. It's going to be an emotional show today. You know, it hit me. It hit me last night when I was watching Claude Giroux kind of going around in the skate and all that fun stuff. It really got me. And then he's waving, and little adorable Gavin, who stole the show at the All-Star game, even though his dad won MVP. Everyone's like, did you see Gavin? He was adorable. So for me, again, same thing last night. Gavin stole the show. But seeing Claude with his family, seeing him with his kids, the kids get the little hockey sticks. He gets the hockey stick with Bobby Clark. The teammates come over, Ivan Provorov, Kevin Hayes. They present the ladies with flowers, Claude's mom and his lovely wife, Ryan. It was awesome. The Flyers do things like that, I think, better than anybody in sports. Those moments, those tribute moments, every single time they get a hat trick, they light the lamp, whatever. They hit a home run every single time. And the Flyers, on top of it, had a great performance in the third period. What did I just say? Great performance in the third period to actually win that game. Claude didn't necessarily stuff the stat sheet, but he was very emotional after playing 1,000 games for the Philadelphia Flyers, something only Bobby Clark has done for the Flyers organization. So two people have done that, and they were both on the ice last night, sharing the same silver hockey stick, if you will. So that was a great moment. And Claude, after the game, as you would assume, talked about the emotional aspect of last night, most likely being his last game with the Flyers. Here is Claude Giroux last night.
From a personal standpoint, have you ever been more emotional game personally for yourself?
Definitely not. I mean, during the game, I was trying to keep it together, and it wasn't too bad the first two periods, and then the third period hit, and the crowd, my teammates, they just made it extra special. I didn't know what to expect, but tonight was pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. It was a really special night for the Orange and Black, a special night for the Philadelphia Flyers, and obviously Claude Giroux. So where could Claude be headed? Enter Nasty Knuckles. Look at that! Breaking stories. So according to Nasty, according to Riley Cote, they're saying, per a source, I wonder who it could be. Claude Giroux is headed to the Florida Panthers. That's where he's going. Not the Colorado Avalanche. No, not to the Avs, but apparently to the Florida Panthers. That's where he'll be taking his hockey skills a little bit north of South Beach, I guess. He'll be taking his talents a little bit north of South Beach by playing for the Florida Panthers. I don't get in my feels a lot when I watch sports anymore. I call me a cold-hearted bastard. I don't know. But when I watched Claude Giroux last night, I was definitely feeling something. Like to watch him come up and be a youngster with the Stanley Cup team that made it to the Stanley Cup championship, obviously the Stanley Cup final against the Blackhawks, and then to watch the whole process that ensued after that, Mike Richards, Jeff Carter getting traded, this becoming Claude Giroux's team, and him being the longest tenured captain in the history of the Philadelphia Flyers. That says something about his career. And then as I started to reflect on his career, I started to get mad. I started to get angry because we look right now at the Sixers, and what do we always say the number one goal of the Sixers is? Other than the more specific thing, other than winning a championship, we talk about how you can't waste the prime of Joel Embiid's career, okay? And although I think Joel Embiid is a better basketball player than Claude Giroux as a hockey player, what I will say is that I feel like the Flyers have wasted the prime of Claude Giroux's career. And you think about the head coaches he's had, from Peter Laviolette to Craig Berube to Dave Haxtell to Alain Vigneault, and now you have an interim coach for the majority of this season in Mike Yeo. And this is over his time as a captain. And then I think of Ron Hextall coming in here and never really making a move to try to put him over the edge of the trade deadline to make something special happen. And then I look at Chuck Fletcher adding some guys like Kevin Hayes and what they've been able to do as an offense. Then Kevin Hayes has some two up and down years. He's got a bad injury and all that. For me, it's a rough thing over the last decade to look at Claude Giroux and for the people that want to go, oh, well, he's the captain, he should be the leader. Well, first off, he is the leader. I never talked to anybody in that dressing room for the Philadelphia Flyers that had a bad word to say about Claude Giroux. So I think he's a pretty damn good leader in that regard. And when they talk about the franchise not having success in his tenure here, you know who the first person to bring that up is? Claude Giroux, which is always what I've respected about him in that regard. So I look at this the last 10 years and I think of myself, this is a team that I think wasted the talents of Claude Giroux for a long time. And as the captain of this team, as a guy who still compiled all these numbers by playing in all these games for the Philadelphia Flyers, 900 points, 1,000 games. Damn, that's awesome. But thinking about it like this, what he could have had if he had a GM that wasn't Ron Hextall, if he had an organization that came in and actually wanted to win while he was here, not just, all right, well, let's sustain, rebuild. Then, you know, that's what we'll end up doing. And that's how we'll have success eventually. Well, by saying eventually, you're telling me that the years of like the late 20s and early 30s of Claude Giroux's career are not going to matter to this team and to this hockey club. And that's unfortunate. And that's one of the things I miss about the Ed Snyder years. And they were always, until a couple of years ago, is that this team was always trying to win. You could always count on the Flyers no matter what. They were trying to win the Stanley Cup that year. There was no next year. There was no tomorrow. They were trying to win. And they could not be a farther cry from that right now. So, Claude Giroux, good luck to you. Thanks for the service here in Philadelphia, playing for the Flyers, doing a great job as a captain of this team. I wish the organization could have served you better. Now, less than 24 hours ago, we were talking about Kyle Schwarber as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. And I was thinking, wow, okay, expanded playoffs, this rotation staying healthy. You have the NL MVP in the lineup. Yeah, Rhys Hoskins, hopefully Alec Boehm's redone and all that stuff. Schwarber added, like I said. Oh, this should be enough to make the playoffs. Well, hold the phone a minute here, ladies. Check this out. John Morrissey tweeted out yesterday, Nick Castellanos continues to draw interest from the Phillies and the Miami Marlins. The Phillies could, dare I say it, could they be ready to spend stupid money? Because getting the two of maybe three of the top free agents that were going to be out there, this is pretty stupid money. How great would it be that in this offseason we're like, all right, can they get Bryant? Can they get Castellanos? Can they get Schwarber? Can they get two of the three? Huh? And now they could be on the precipice of getting Nick Castellanos as well. That is a lineup don't nobody want to mess with. That's the lineup I need to see. That's the lineup I need in South Philadelphia as soon as humanly possible. Inject it right into my veins. You get Nick Castellanos here batting in the same lineup as Harper, as Schwarber, as JT Real Muto. That is what fans will be coming out to see. They'll be like, the lockout? There was a lockout? What are you talking about? Lockout? Huh? And there will be butts in the seats at Citizens Bank Park. That's going to be an incredible lineup. I can't wait to see it, and hopefully it all comes to fruition. I'm very excited to see what could happen there. Kyle Schwarber in here, batting the top of this order, along with Bryce Harper batting cleanup, maybe Castellanos in that role, whoever it might be, Real Muto batting fifth. You have a lot of options here. And the fact that they have the designated hitter now in the DH forever, the designated hitter now in the National League, is only another saving grace to all the bats you could be adding to this lineup. You don't only have to worry about somebody being a butcher in the field. It's all right, just have him have him as a DH today. That is something. And now, as these guys get a little older, you can start to not worry about a diminishing return on your investment. So keep our fingers crossed that the Phillies can continue to add to this lineup. Because right now, yes, I think they can be a playoff team. You had Nick Castellanos, they are a playoff team. That's how that goes. That's how easy that becomes. Yeah, they could do it. 14 teams making the playoffs. Yeah, they could do it. They're doing it. Get Castellanos, they're doing it. It's not, oh, they can. They got a good shot. They're doing it. So that's what I need to see from this Phillies team. Yeah, go ahead and let's get greedy, Philadelphia. Let's get greedy and get Nick Castellanos. Yes, please, and thank you. By the way, today's guest, Danny Pommells. You see it in the scroll. Danny Pommells from NBC Sports Philadelphia will be joining us. Danny's got an interesting perspective. Originally, I reached out to him earlier in the week. Oh, yeah, I went ahead and booked a guest early, folks. I reached out to him earlier in the week to talk Sixers. He does a great job of Sixers Talk podcast and all that. But as it unfolded and we were texting, he goes, hey, we got to move the interview back a little bit. I got to do a one-on-one with Hassan Reddick. And I was like, really? And that interview with Hassan Reddick, you can catch on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com a little bit later today, as well as the My Teams app. And you can also see it on NBC 10, as a matter of fact. So it turned out to be a two birds with one stone thing. We got to talk Sixers. We got to talk about Hassan Reddick, as Danny just got done his interview with Hassan Reddick. Now, I did watch the press conference. And keep your eyes peeled for Danny's interview with Hassan Reddick, his one-on-one. But I did watch Hassan Reddick's press conference, and I thought to myself, This guy is incredible. I knew his background at Temple. I've seen him speak before. I was aware of his positive attitude. I haven't heard him really talk a lot as an NFL player, as a pro, right? And what I heard throughout his 15-minute press conference yesterday, I just was impressed as all get out. Then they actually posted video of him meeting some of his teammates that he talked about during his press conference. They posted video on the Eagles Twitter feed. And these guys just really took to him. It was great. And Jordan Mailata had a special message for him, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. But here is Haason Reddick yesterday when he was asked about how he is best used on the football field. We've talked about his versatility. Here's how Haason Reddick said he's best used. So, Jonathan Gannon, I hope you're listening.
So far in my career, man, you know, I've been doing it all. I've been rushing, I've been dropping, you know, and just use me to my versatility. You know, I'm a fast guy. Just get me on the field and let me go play football at the end of the day. I'm a football player. Just get me on the field and let me go play football.
They need to think about him as a rampaging beast, basically. When he's on the football field, just like, let him go. Let him go. They need him to drop back in coverage. Okay, fine, drop back in coverage. But if you're trying to get after the quarterback, if it's a 3rd and long situation, beep, pop, pop, beep, pop, 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 dial up Haason Reddick and let him get into the backfield to take somebody down. That's what I want to see from him. Now, the other thing about this, Jeff McClain was trying to get a better answer from him on his versatility. And, you know, he's got, 23 sacks over the last 2 years, and that's 4th on the list in the NFL when you talk about the linebacker position. Haason Reddick yesterday was asked by Jeff McClain of Inquirer.com, you know, he's not built like other pass rushers. He's not built like other edge rushers. What defines him in that category? And here's how Haason Reddick answered that question.
You're not built like traditional edge rushers. How do you offset that and win so much?
I'm faster than traditional edge rushers at the end of the day. But like I said earlier, man, I have an underdog mentality. I'm a hard worker. And, you know, at the end of the day, size doesn't matter to me. You line them up in front of me, and I'm going to do the best I can to beat them.
I don't know how you could be sold on this guy any more than you already are. Well, how come you're not like other edge rushers? Well, because I'm faster than them guys, basically. Now, one of the things he did say, going into the offseason, he wanted to add about 8 pounds. He wanted to go, and boy, I could tell him how to do that. But there's a guy who has nachos for lunch every day. But when Haason Reddick was talking about adding weight, he said he wanted to go from 242 to about 250 and then see how his agility is and his mobility is at that point. So we'll see if he gets to that point and how he does move around. But one thing's for sure, it seemed like these guys were really excited to meet Haason Reddick. Now, he talked in the press conference about meeting Jason Kelce and how he kind of looks up to Jason Kelce because, like Jason Kelce, Haason Reddick was a walk-on at his college. Obviously, with Jason Kelce at Cincinnati and Haason Reddick when he went to Temple University. He was a walk-on, had to prove himself. Well, Haason Reddick turned himself into a first-round pick. Jason Kelce, a 6th-round pick, so he went a little later. But you're basically starting from the bottom to make sure that you could build a career that will last. And that's what those two players have certainly done. So Haason Reddick went out of his way to mention that yesterday. He talked about going into the locker room to meet Darius Slay. He talked about how Javon Hargrave reached out to him on Twitter, said he loved Grave Digger as his name on Twitter. He also said Brandon Graham reached out to him to welcome him to the Eagles nest and all that stuff. And then he walked around a little bit more. Darius Slay went up to him and said, hey, man, I'm going to get you those sacks. I'm going to get you those sacks. Little press coverage on the outside, buy you another second in the backfield to get a quarterback. I'm going to get you those sacks. And then he met Jordan Mailata. Now, the video has circulated. But if you remember, when the Eagles went to Carolina this year to play, Haason Reddick beat the brakes off Jordan Mailata, who I believe was playing on the right side. Right side, because this was during Lane Johnson's time away. And he was playing on the right side. Andre Dillon was on the left side. And Haason Reddick took advantage of the Aussie and just beat the brakes off him and got a sack in that game, if you recall correctly. So Jordan Mailata meets Haason Reddick face-to-face yesterday in the Eagles' weight room, and here's how that went down.
What's going on, bro? How you doing, baby? Good. Doing outside,
Did you catch that? Could you hear it? One more time.
What's going on, bro? Good. How you doing, baby? Good. Doing outside, Good to see you, bro. What's up, bro?
There he is beating Landon Dickerson as well. The way it sounds in Australian is so much cuter and adorable and charming, actually. But yeah, Jordan Mailata did not forget about the time Hassan Reddick beat him in that game last year in Carolina. And I love that that's the first thing that he said, and Hassan Reddick knew how to take it. So that's awesome. Love that. I think this guy's going to be a great fit here in Philadelphia, and I think it's a great piece to add to this Eagles defense. And I was actually doing a podcast yesterday. I was on a show, the Bird Brains, right? Great show. It's on YouTube. You guys should subscribe. Great guys. And they were asking me about the linebacker position. And they're like, the Eagles, do you think they do more with the linebacker position in the draft? And I was like, nope. Not going to happen. I would love to see it. I think they added to the defensive line. And we'll get to Fletcher Cox in that news in a second. I think they add to the defensive line, but I don't think they add to the linebacking core. It would be like the Flyers all of a sudden getting 2 goaltenders. Like, the Flyers have valued the goalie position, obviously. They just haven't been any good at procuring that talent. The Eagles, they're not all of a sudden going to hit the reset button on 20 years in that philosophy thinking, let me make sure that I get another linebacker in here. You know what? Linebackers are the way to go. No, they're not thinking that even a little bit. Serviceable. Sean Bradley will most likely be a starter this year for the Eagles. Davion Taylor will get his reps, obviously, as a starter this year for the Eagles. Alex Singleton could possibly come back at a cheaper price, so we'll see how that works out. But the Eagles aren't going, even though he's an edge rusher, the Eagles aren't going from not giving a damn about the linebackers position to Hassan Reddick and then a first-round pick. They're not doing that. And I don't think they're going to add anybody else in free agency either of note. But the way I see them actually using Hassan Reddick is going to be very similar to the way they used Jannard Avery. Now, Hassan Reddick, a lot better than Jannard Avery. But when you had Jannard Avery out there setting the edge, especially after Brandon Graham went down, you saw him have success, force some bad passes, make a tackle at the line of scrimmage, get a tackle for loss. You saw him have some success in that role. Hassan Reddick will be the takeoff to the nth degree from what you saw from a guy like Jannard Avery in the upcoming season. More so dropping back in coverage than you have seen from Jannard Avery, but when it comes to being aggressive, everything else would be tenfold. You'll be like, oh my God, a linebacker came up and made a play before they were 10 yards down the field? Amazing. So that's what I look forward to seeing from Hassan Reddick in this Eagles defense. Fletcher Cox. I thought it was really weird. And I saw the report from John Clark and other people have picked it up since, saying that the Eagles are working on a 1-year deal to bring Fletcher Cox back to Philadelphia. When he got released, the first thing that came out that jumped to my mind was, this isn't going to be for long. He'll be back. And the reason I thought he would be back is because Howie Roseman, get to his contracting extension in a second, Howie Roseman's not letting anybody go for nothing. All right? And he had the opportunity and kept Fletcher Cox aware of what was going on at the trade deadline this past season. And Fletcher Cox was still here. There's no way they were going to allow him to stay here in Philadelphia when they could have traded him to get something in return and let him walk. There's no way they were just going to let him walk out the door without getting something in return. So when I saw they were releasing him, I thought, this is beyond a restructure. This is an ultimate reset. They're letting him go. They'll bring him back. I very much doubt, after a down year and after teams have already added to the defensive line with big money free agency money, that they're just going to be waiting in the wings to throw, boom, another $100 million in Fletcher Cox's face and say, get on my defensive line. Wasn't going to happen. So my thought process was, before they owed him the $18 million on his contract set to lock in yesterday, handshake deal, this is how it's going to go down. We're going to release you. We're going to bring you back on a rework deal. Oh, not a rework deal, a new deal entirely. So that's how I think this whole thing went down. I think Fletcher Cox has not played his last game for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he'll sign that 1-year deal, return to the Eagles for at least one more year. Something was fishy from the get-go. Usually if guys are being released, that means they don't want to be brought back, or the team doesn't want to bring them back. But in this regard, the fact that they had offers for him at the deadline and felt that he was valuable enough to this team going forward led me to believe that they weren't done with Fletcher Cox just yet, nor were they going to allow him to walk out the door without getting anything in return at the deadline. So the fact that they let that happen, the fact that the reports are already out there, that he'll most likely be back anyway in a 1-year deal, makes a hell of a lot more sense than just letting Fletcher Cox go and taking, a $30 million cap hit? Gee. So it's actually a good move. It's actually a smart move. And I do think that there is a wink and a nod and a handshake type of deal going on behind the scenes there. I don't think Fletcher Cox wants to leave Philadelphia either. I know a lot of his personal life is based here in Philadelphia. Now it comes time for the Howie Roseman judgment. A 3-year deal. Speaking of handshakes and backroom deals, if you're Jeffrey Lurie, why the hell are you making this deal right now? Like, just the optics of it. If you're Jeffrey Lurie, why are you doing this deal now? A 3-year contract extension for a GM that nobody likes. The guy won a Super Bowl and still nobody likes him. Oh, it's lucky that he did that. Okay, yeah, a lot of people have luck. But think about this for a second if you're Jeffrey Lurie. You know the public doesn't like him. You know your fan base doesn't like him. So you sign him to a 3-year deal before he has the most important draft maybe in the history of the Eagles with 3 first-round picks. If he sucks with these first round picks, you already have him to a 3-year deal? Oh, it takes 3 years to judge a draft. Well, you've had a couple more than 3 years to judge Howie Roseman. So you mean to tell me you need this draft to judge him again? I think you know what you have. Why not, if you're Jeffrey Lurie, have another handshake, backroom, wink and a nod type of deal where, all right, Howie, look, we both know you're here, okay? There's trust between those two unlike anything else. If there's trust anywhere in that NovaCare complex, it's between Howie and Jeffrey and Jeffrey and Howie. I mean, let's not forget, Lurie's the guy that said, hey, Howie, go help me with chin straps for our helmets while Chip Kelly takes over player personnel. And then when he brought Howie back to take over player personnel, they won a Super Bowl 2 years later. So Howie Roseman, I'm sure Jeffrey Lurie's eyes is looked at as the savior of the franchise because he put that Super Bowl contending team together, Super Bowl winning team together after Chip Kelly lit a match to a lot of franchise players here in Philadelphia. So if there's trust anywhere now, especially, it's between these two parties. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie needed to make this deal right now. I think it's a bad deal to make right now. Not saying that Howie Roseman isn't deserving of it. He won a Super Bowl and all that stuff. But the most pivotal draft possibly in the Eagles' history, and you sign your GM to a 3-year deal now, not after he's made the picks, not after he's made the selections, not after he's cashed in those chips for any other return, whether it be draft picks or another franchise quarterback maybe. Before those deals are made, you've already made the judgment, Howie's the guy. And the rest of us are going, I'm sorry, what? Derek Barnett? No. Marcus Smith? No. No, we're not going to change everything of Whiteside, Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson. And right now, with 3 first-round picks, you're going to go, I don't care about that. This guy is our GM. That's not only stupid, and it's a bad look. Should probably reverse that. Not only is it a bad look for the public and the fan base, it's stupid. Why would I do that? This guy's been really shaky at drafting. It's the weakest part of his game. So let me sit back for a second and give him a 3-year deal with the most important draft ever. And he's okay. Hey, no pressure, Howie. After this, you still got a 3-year deal. It's not like a 1-year contract extension. They re-upped him for 1 more year. No, they're saying, suck at this draft and it's cool still because you got another 3 years on the deal. Mind blown with epic stupidity. It makes no damn sense, is what I'm trying to convey to you fine people. Makes no damn sense. Anyway, before we get to our guest today, Danny Pommells, I do want to point this out. If you remember, before Joel Embiid dropped 35 and pulled down 17 boards the other night against the Cavaliers, he was listed as questionable with a back injury that he had no idea existed, apparently, as he was saying in the postgame press conference. Well, as fate would have it, yesterday, Kai Carlin, who's been a guest on the show, also reported the same thing, that Joel Embiid has another back injury, and he's questionable. And I thought to myself, damn, I hope so. 35 and 17 the last time he did it? Good for him. Also, so we'll see how true that is when they tip off against the Mavericks in South Philadelphia tonight. Also, shout out to the St. Peter's Peacocks. How? For beating Kentucky. And how did they? Because they're peacocks, ladies and gentlemen. and nobody messes with a peacock. Have you seen them? They're first off majestically beautiful, and then they're just got the talons and hell, like don't mess with them, man. That's my squad going forward. And it's not just because I do the single greatest peacock call in the history of peacock calls. Well, I don't want, but me and my cousins are probably all tied. Actually, you know what I might do? My cousin's coming over today. A couple of them actually, and he's gonna be in town. Maybe the three of us will do peacock calls. And maybe I'll play it. Just so you guys know, it's a family gift that we can all do peacock calls. All right. I don't want to brag any more than I already have, but we do the greatest peacock calls in the history of peacock calls. It's a family thing. So anyway, shout out to St. Peter's for taking care of business against Kentucky yesterday. So that's pretty awesome. Congrats to them. Let me tell you about the amazing people of Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Hey, you want to be like Mike Seibert, who's enjoying life right now playing golf, right? You could be doing that in retirement, folks, if you see my man Mike Seibert, presenting sponsor of the Farzy Show. He's amazing. Retirement income certified professional, financial advisor for Eagles and Sixers fans only. His firm, Destination Retirement LLC, is a full-service planning firm and proud partner of 1847 Financial. Mike helps clients with their accumulation years as well as their distribution years. What's the difference? Oh, a lot. Mike helps clients with those years and also helps them figure out how much they want to put away per month to retire. Also, how much of their retirement income would they like guaranteed no matter what? They want to protect any assets from downside market risk. And do you have a written plan? If you have questions, if you need answers, and you have assets of $250,000 or more, Mike will create a written plan to help offset your retirement expenses free of charge using software from Retirement Analyzer. He usually charges just under $2,000. So act right now and get it for free. Your plan will show how much you can offset your retirement expenses as well as what you could do in a volatile market and help minimize taxes. With over 30 years of experience in the financial game, Mike is committed to helping Eagles and Sixers fans only go to and through retirement. When you get Mike, you can reach him at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. Or visit destinationretirement.com. Click on Find Out at the top of the page and fill out the questionnaire to see how prepared you are for retirement. You can also sign up for his newsletter. He'll get back to you and let you know how he can help. And as always, go Birds and play the song. Let me tell you about my man Steven Singer, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen. Steven Singer has been in the love business for over 40 years, helping people get engaged and give the perfect gift for that special someone on that special day. So do what I do. When it comes to real diamond jewelers, you go see my man, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Also, check out IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's Steven Singer Jewelers. We don't have to worry about a coupon, a promo code, a discount, anything like that, because every day you're set at the perfect price. Oh, did I miss the sale? The sale was yesterday. No, sales every day at Steven Singer Jewelers, because unlike other jewelers, and this is why other jewelers say, I hate Steven Singer. He doesn't play their game. He doesn't try to get the money. He doesn't try to nickel and dime you when you walk in the store. Doesn't try to get the most from you. Doesn't mark things way up just to mark it down in front of you. What you do is you walk in, you get the perfect price, just like everybody gets the perfect price every day, at any moment, at Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price. The perfect price, and online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's jump on the amazing, this guy's awesome. I just love this guy. The Rothman Orthopedics guest line, and from NBC Sports Philadelphia, talk to our man, Danny Pommells. On the Rothman Orthopedics guest line, my man Pots and Pans from NBC Sports Philadelphia, yes. NBC 10 as well, sports reporter extraordinaire, Sixers Talk podcast, and a little bit later on, matter of fact, a little bit later today, when we air this on Friday, an interview one-on-one with a brand new minted Eagle, Hassan Reddick. So we look forward to that. The great Danny Pommells joins us. Danny, what's going on, brother?
Farzy, how are you, sir? Glad to be here. We didn't get a chance to talk Seven Fishes, but I guess the Seven Fishes a few months back was good for you.
Phenomenal. I made a nice lobster ravioli, homemade pasta, the whole shebang. I did everything but farm the lobster myself, my friend.
Damn. Okay. Dang, that does sound good.
It was nothing compared to that time you had your friends. What are they called? Food chasers? What are their names?
Yes. Oh, they have a restaurant now. They have an actual restaurant, Elkins Park. Food Chasers Kitchen. They do. Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
You got to pull up. Tell your people to pull up.
Well, let's see. We're well overdue for a roast beef sandwich at Cherry Street Tavern. And then we got to go little Aju with the little Aju.
Yeah.
Oh man, what the random things you could have in common with people when you get to know them. It was one of the things you and I had in common. How great that roast beef sandwich is at Cherry Street Tavern in Center City. Phenomenal.
Underrated.
Very underrated, underappreciated. How about that? Yeah. Danny, you do a phenomenal job with Sixers Talk podcast, and we'll get plenty of Sixers conversation there. But you have an interview that's going to drop today, Friday, at the time we do this interview with Hassan Reddick. I'm just curious. I saw the press conference. I thought he was incredible. I thought he dazzled with a lot of things that he said. What were your takeaways from this conversation that you had one-on-one with New Eagle Hassan Reddick?
Bro, he is kind of in a surreal haze right now because all this coming to fruition. He called it the perfect story because he left and then came back and everything, and he's really excited to be here. Super humble. The vibes and the energy coming off him are so great, and he really feels like he hasn't reached his peak yet, and he's ready to make an impact. And for those keeping track at home, Max's is his cheesesteak place. He likes to go to Max's for his cheesesteaks. So make of that what you wish. I think that's an excellent choice. But he is just super humble and really excited about the impact he can make. And I talked to Reddick, and then 20 minutes later, I'm leaving the NovaCare complex, and Fletcher Cox is released. So a lot was going on with the Eagles, and I think they timed it perfectly so that all the interviews were done for Hassan Reddick, and then they could drop this news so he wouldn't get asked about that. But a really impressionable guy, and really a guy that seems so genuine, and I hope he does well here, and especially with his story and his background, just really great.
Certainly, and I'm really looking forward to watching that interview, obviously, later today. The other part of this is Fletcher Cox, yes, like you said, getting released. Was it one of those situations where you looked at your phone and tried to turn around and go right back in the NovaCare complex?
Bro, I was I had to get to the station to do a hit on NBC 10, so I was rushing in, are we first? Are we last? And we ended up being first, so it was a good thing I rushed over. So it was just, but the caveat, of course, is that they're trying to work something out. Mm-hmm. They're trying to come to terms on a new deal, and maybe Fletcher will be back. So, but Zach Ertz already with the full court press on, trying to recruit him to come to Arizona. So we'll see.
Yeah, the man's a hustler. It goes without saying. And now to take the Eagles hat off for a second and put on the hat of the Philadelphia 76ers. Like I said, great job with Sixers Talk podcast. People need to make sure they're following that, watching that, and listening and all that fine stuff. When it comes to this, the Sixers brand now, with a guy like James Harden, I have seen the really aggressive James Harden, and I've seen the passive James Harden. What version do you think we'll see for the remaining 14 games they have left in this season?
Yeah, they've got 42 wins, 14 games to go, and he has said himself that he's trying to find the balance between getting all the guys involved, the playmaking, as well as the scoring. You take this last game against Cleveland, he only had 12 shots. And that might be okay if he didn't go 1 of 6 from 3. He hits a couple more 3-pointers. You're happy with that type of performance. He had 11 assists to go with it. I think that as things go on here, we're going to see more aggression. And I think, part of that, my podcast partner, Noah Levick, likened it a little bit to the Jimmy Butler time. If you remember, there were times where he would maybe kind of oddly to the viewer, kind of just let the game come to him in a way that was super passive and not really be aggressive. And it's some of that you can see with Harden as well. But I feel like the aggression will come. He's trying to work his way into the teammates. But the thing that has impressed me the most, Mark, which I really underestimated, was his aggression when it comes to the leadership, the talking to other guys, the being vocal, the, correcting guys or telling them where to be on the floor and things like that. That vocalness, I think, will go a long way, particularly when it comes to everyone's favorite son, Tyrese Maxey, and just kind of bringing him along. Who doesn't love that guy? How much of a great impression and feeling do you get from him?
Nothing but good vibes. And hearing him last night or 2 nights ago say that Joel Embiid looked like Tupac on the T-shirt that they were all wearing. I have him right here. This, not for nothing. I'm not Tupac's #1 fan. Nothing against him, but just I'm more of a Frank Sinatra guy, so that tells you a lot about me. But I don't look at this and go, "Oh, that's Tupac."
Maybe that's the problem why his defense isn't as good as it should be, because he can't see. Maybe he can't see the guys right in front of him, because that does not look like Tupac. But he said it's like hanging up in his locker. And he's like, "Oh, a T-shirt with Tupac, who gave this to me?" But it turns out to be Embiid. But 19 years old, looking so the pre-process Embiid.
Ooh, exactly. I like that. Yeah, right, exactly. Now, when it comes to your expectations for this team, I know we were all getting really excited when we first saw the first 4 games with them, and since then, a little bit more coming down to earth. James Harden's even acknowledged that. What are your expectations right now for this 76ers team?
Well, if we go regular season, I was on a betting podcast, and they had me put my feet to the fire on over under 50.5 wins. So they have 42. So they need 9 wins out of this 14 to reach the over. And I said the over. I was like, oh, hammer the over. That was when, the Harden honeymoon era was going on. So I feel like they can get, closer to that for the regular season. For the playoffs, I mean, come on, Mark. I mean, we've endured this drought of them getting past the second round of the playoffs as Philly sports fans and Sixers fans for a while. It'll be a colossal failure to me if they can't get past the second round. And we're talking about some tough matchups that they could be facing in that second round. I mean, even the first round, they could end up facing the Boston Celtics, or everyone's talking about them facing the Brooklyn Nets, which is still a possibility. But that second round, no way, no how, any way you slice it, is going to be a tough matchup. And who knows who that could be? It could be the Miami Heat there in the second round. It could be the Milwaukee Bucks, but I'm all of my chips are in the center of the table right now, Mark. They got to get at least to the Eastern Conference Finals, or you're wasting this incredible season from Joel Embiid. Harden comes over, the trade, like all the above. It just doesn't seem like it was worth it if they can't take that next step. So I'm pushing my chips all into the center of the table of at least the Eastern Conference Finals.
You and I could not be on the same page more, even if we were enjoying a fine roast beef sandwich from Cherry Street Tavern with the au jus. Tobias Harris is kind of the guy that we're all trying to figure out what exactly is his place in this lineup here. What do you think we'll see from him as the season goes on? What, a 19-point performance the other night? I'd love to see more of that, as we all would. 26 against the Magic. I think that's a little too many expectations for him. But where does he fit in this mix going forward?
Encouraging signs, though, from these recent games, particularly with way people were hammering him with Harden first guy here. Joel Embiid said after the Cleveland game that Tobias has been doing more of what they've been asking for him, is to let it fly. Like, shoot the ball, bro. Just shoot the basketball. And that's going to complement everything else that we're doing. And particularly, it's weird to see him struggle because the form looks so good. Like, he looks like he's a shooter when he pulls up the form, the release point, all of that stuff. But Hey, Mark, I don't know, but if this will be something that can carry through the end of the regular season or into the postseason. But his defense looked really good against Cleveland, and particularly guarding like smaller, quicker dudes. He's moving his feet really well. His hands have been there, staying in front of guys. So Doc Rivers commented about how the Sixers version of Tobias Harris's defense is so much better than the Clippers version of Tobias Harris that he had in LA. So I think that I am seeing good signs and progress from him. And that's all you're asking for, is these guys to kind of come together as these games move on. And they got a tough slate. And here we are Friday, the friggin' Dallas Mavericks are in town after 2-game winners with Spencer Dinwiddie, Luka Doncic, and all of his offensive repertoire. So the Raptors and the Miami Heat on this 3-game homestand are going to be some real measuring sticks for the Sixers. Certainly.
Real quick, last thing on the Sixers. Where are you on the debate with trying to improve the bench, with possibly putting Tyrese Maxey on the bench, having him come off? Where are you? And that guy, okay.
No.
Are you sure?
I think the move, though, and this is just me, is Danny Green for Matisse is the move I would make, because with Matisse coming off the bench, there's some energy and expectation as far as, like, being dynamic defensively and kind of changing the tenor of the opposing team's offense, where they don't quite have a guy like that, like who's going to come in and bring juice like Tyrese Maxey used to do off the bench. I'm okay, though, if there is some tinkering that goes on. I mean, I think that's what these next several games should be for the Sixers, is try for Doc Rivers to try to figure out what works with the backup 5 minutes, with the bench and whatnot. I am over Furkan Korkmaz, though. I'm tired of seeing him. But
I think Doc Rivers is too.
Yeah, he could work his way back into this lineup because of the erraticness of how he's spreading out these bench minutes. And Doc said it's going to be different guys, different nights. It's not going to be one guy who gets all of it. But we should expect to see Niang and Danny Green and incorporated into that rotation a lot more.
Gotcha. All right, Danny, it's your first time on the Farzy Show. We appreciate you coming by. We like to ask first-time guests the Fast Five. Are you willing to play Fast Five?
Yes, I'm willing to play Fast Five.
All right. In the words of my good friend, Big Daddy Graham, let's bring in the band. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Fast Five with Danny Pommells. Best job before this job. Best job before this job.
My best job before this job, I used to work at a radio station in the promotions department. It was called 103.9 The Beat. This is when I was in college, kind of straddling, working in college and then moving on after I graduated. And I used to work in the promotions department. We would load up the van with CDs and tickets and T-shirts and whatnot, and just drive around the city in this big excursion. The Ford Excursion. You remember that gigantic thing?
Yeah.
And we would just give stuff away until it was all gone, and then head back to the station. So that was a sweet gig.
Till it was all gone. Peel one off the top for the Pommells account.
Or two.
Or two. At WIP, we had a Hummer when I was just starting out, and
oh my God,
we had to fill it with gas and then wait to be reimbursed, and it would take months. But anyway,
no,
yeah, exactly.
No.
Go-to fast food place for Danny Pommells. You gotta do fast food. Where are you going?
I am going to fast food. Can we go like little niche places? Can we do like a little?
Sure. Yeah,
bro, I love this place, El Fuego. And it's on Walnut Street. It's 7th, right near, I guess that's I forget what the name of that park is, but it's right near the Curtis building. It's 7th and Walnut, and they just had fantastic tacos, bro.
Okay.
Right off of 8th and Walnut, right where the Jewelers Row is.
Oh, Steven Singer Jewelers, of course.
Right.
Here at the Steven Singer studio. Yeah.
Steven Singer. If you're standing at Steven Singer, go down towards 7th Street. You won't miss it.
Got it.
But
Okay.
El Fuego is the place for me.
And Fuego muy bueno. I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. Danny Pommells, in your dating days, what was the first date deal breaker?
Bad breath. The breath's got to be fresh, bro.
You're right.
I gotta have the good breath. The bad breath, man, was just like, get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Especially if you already, talk to her out. Oh, it's just a nice lady, whatever. You pick her up, and then she gets in the car. That's terrible.
I need the good aromas headed my way. I need the perfume, the lotion, whatever it is. I need the good. So the bad breath is like
the sense.
That's a deal breaker.
Yeah, you need the good sense. That's fantastic. Favorite city to travel to?
That's an easy one. I'm a Bay Area guy. San Francisco, Oakland. I actually just came back from there. We went to see a Jasmine Sullivan concert, Philly artist.
Oh, cool.
Bro, she can sing. It was phenomenal. It was like a birthday trip for me in February. And I would say the Bay Area. I'm a big San Francisco, Oakland guy.
I thought you meant Baltimore for a second.
I do like crabs though. The steamed crabs.
Hells yeah, man. Hells yeah. And then finally, Danny Pommells, and you really are one of the nicest people I've ever met. But what makes you absolutely? What makes you use your horn in traffic?
I'm an aggressive driver. I can be aggressive. I am typical Philly. If the light turns green, you better move that sucker, or you're gonna hear the horn. And I can't. All props to my New Jersey people, but you can't drive. So if you need to stay in the slow lane, okay? You drive like you're on a dirt road, stay in the slow lane. I'll be in the fast lane. Simpatico. Everything will be a lot easier for everyone.
I couldn't agree more. 9 times out of 10, I look down on that driver. So they do something that upsets me. I look down and see a Jersey plate, and I go, "Of course,
right."
Of course." Danny Pommells, so great catching up with you, my man. Seriously, make sure you guys are checking out Danny Pommells across all his platforms, especially when he's doing Sixers Talk podcast, and then also be on the lookout for his one-on-one with Hassan Reddick that drops Friday. So make sure you guys check that out on NBC Sports Philadelphia and NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com, as well as at My Team's app as well. Danny, great catching up with you, my friend.
My boy, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Danny Pommells joining us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. Danny Pommells, ladies and gentlemen. True story. I have suffered the bad breath. Death by bad breath. Yeah. Asked a girl out, not kidding. And we had worked together. And there was a moment, maybe the day before we went on this date. I like asked her out on like a Tuesday. When ladies are thinking about romance on a Tuesday. And I guess Thursday we're at work and we're around the same desk, and she's like leaning over, looking at my computer screen. That's not a euphemism. That's actual. It's not a metaphor. It's actually the computer screen. And she was talking, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is the." It's like she ate a trash can, and that's it. She ate a trash can. But like a trash can that had been around and nobody emptied for months, and they threw out food from the refrigerator and forgot to throw out the trash can, that thing. And I'm like, and like I couldn't get it out of my head. So I was just like, oh, I got to do a thing Friday night now. I got to do a thing tomorrow night. I couldn't get it out of my head. The whole time I'm going to be thinking, when's that bad breath? Like I know it's in there. It's just a matter of time before I get that again. And I ain't doing it. I ain't lurking. I ain't letting bad breath lurk in the weeds. So, yeah, I have canceled a date due to severe halitosis. Not on my behalf. Well, I did it for me, but it was because of her breath stank. Now, I like to think, because I'm a fair person, she probably was going to cancel anyway, because maybe I had bad breath and I just didn't know it. But that's untrue, because I always have mints. I have a horrible... that's one of the greatest things about the whole mask thing. Like wearing a mask, I've been like, I don't have to worry about anybody's breath, my breath, no breath. It's great. But yeah, the bad breath on a date. I didn't even get to the first date because this lady's breath was so stank. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I was I was in college, as a matter of fact, still in college. Yeah. So there you go. Sean, I just happened to look down and see your comment. That woman did it on purpose, Farzy, to spare your feelings. Yeah. I would have put it past her. She's a smart lady. Hey, Danny Pommells joined us on the Rothman Orthopedics guest line. If you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. And with same-day appointments available, you can get started right now on getting back to being you. That's RothmanOrtho.com, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people of Windview? Keep on riding. Joel Embiid's over. Back issue? Ha! Keep riding it, ladies and gentlemen. The people of Windview, I'll help you cash that out. It's not a sports book, though. It's not a daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans. That's right. Everyone here in the chat, you guys could challenge one another if you wanted on the Windview app. Download it to your phone and start letting the money roll in for making predictions on the games that you love so much. Stop, maybe you can break up the monotony of family get-togethers of going out with friends, whatever you would say. Boom, Windview contest. Have yourself a good time. Maybe your basketball fantasy team isn't doing so great. Jump on Windview. Win yourself some money against somebody in your own league. That's how I like to do it. So download the Windview app to your phone right now. And how about, ladies and gentlemen, the great people of PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Wow, Alyssa, I'm sure you run into a bunch of kids that have the stanky breath. That's a veteran move by you. Have a pack of mints right there. A whole BJ's side bag of them. Good for you, Alyssa. Let's jump into the chat check officially now, ladies and gentlemen. John Cheeseburger, hello. Alyssa, hello. Sean, hello. April, good morning. Mally, good morning. What's going on? April, 2 of mine took a hit. Wait, what took a hit here? Let me try to get... Oh, the bracket. Bracket busters. Help! There you go. And by the way, I was also thinking, there was Jim said that his neighbor has peacocks. Jim, please confirm for the good people how spot on my peacock impression is. For those that didn't know, my Uncle Andy had a farm. He had about 6 or 8 peacocks on it. Me and my cousins all do impressions of peacocks. You're welcome. All right. First year not doing a bracket. I hate doing brackets. I pick Gonzaga, chalk, but do you see Chet Holmgren, by the way, had a Wilt Chamberlain stat line? I think he had, 15 points, 15 rebounds, and like 5 assists. And he's had 2 of them this year, and nobody else in Division I has had one of those games. Pretty amazing. Mally, first you're not doing a bracket. Kevin, good morning. Mullet, what's going on? Yeah, thank God. I could today. Like I've been fighting this cold since I did a COVID test. It's negative, thank God. So I don't have to worry about all that stuff. But I just felt so run down this week, and like I felt so congested. And I need today, and take a nice long nap hopefully today and sleep this thing off. Bringing the cheeks to the seats, baby. Mullet, I'm stealing that. That's fantastic. You signed Nick. First off, with Harper and with Schwarber, I think you've already put some cheeks in the seats. But you add Nick Castellanos to this lineup. Holy pots and pans, people. April, pitching is last on their mind like usual. Yeah, that's what it seems like. And I think it was John that said, what version of Aaron Nola we're going to get? I have no idea. Yeah, here's John right here. Nola's too inconsistent. Out of, let's say, 30 starts, you'll get 5 A starts, 10 pretty good starts, 10 pretty mess starts, followed up with 5. What in the hell is he doing kind of starts? That's kind of where I would go with that on John. I think I would agree with most of that. But here's the thing. When he's on, like 2 years ago and finished, third in the Cy Young voting, it's pretty damn good. The last 2 seasons have been abnormal seasons. And I think this year is another year where we look at Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, who finished second in the Cy Young voting. We get those guys on the hill starting out your rotation. Zach Eflin has been a guy this organization's been high on from, really since a long time, really. I mean, they've just, this guy's been blown. Dave Dombrowski, the first guy he wanted to talk about last year was Zach Eflin. So hopefully he'll have a year that he actually puts it all together. No Vince Velasquez this year, so that's exciting just to say that out loud. And then obviously Kyle Gibson coming over here last year didn't have the best first month and a half as a Philly at the end of last year after they acquired him, but I still think he's a guy that will help round out this rotation better than a guy like Vince Velasquez was, and that's not bragging. But I think he'll do a better job at least. Let's see. What else do we have here? John. Let's see. Mally says, how does Howie keep getting these extensions? I want to put, what is it? The Laurie's got compromising photos of him and a goat. I don't know. No, Howie's got compromising photos of Laurie and a goat. That's how that would work out. Or maybe a peacock. Anyway, John says, Dan, might be because Reddick is literally the only free agent they've signed so far. The other issue is some of these contracts have reset the market. That's absolutely true. That was a response to Dan saying, I hate to say it, but I feel so apathetic towards the Eagles this season. I don't know if that's just because they can't draft, but hopefully they can draft this upcoming draft. Not a good feeling that I have more hope for the Phillies. That is not a good feeling, but hey, the Phillies are getting it done. Mally says Fletcher Cox will be back. I expect him to. John says, I kind of doubt Singleton will be back. I have my doubts. I'm just saying it's a possibility. I would give it a 15% chance of him coming back. The issue is this was done weeks ago. The timing sucks. John, I agree with that as far as Fletcher Cox goes. Alyssa says 3-year deal with Howie is gross. Nobody denies that, except maybe Jeffrey Lurie or Howie Roseman. Jim Krasman Grassmatter says, hello, what's up, Jim? How you doing? John says, I'm a peacock captain. You got to let me fly. Yeah. April, because Kentucky sucked from the line. That was a big part of it. Seeing John Calipari explain how Kentucky lost. Like there's certain, look, the guy's shell-shocked just coming off a loss like that. When he went in, like this brilliant college head coach trying to explain to people, well, see, they made shot. And like this, like he wasn't being sarcastic. He wasn't being a jerk. John Calipari, if you go back and watch the press conference, he was like, well, like he almost reminded me of Nick Sirianni. And he was like, well, what had happened was they made shots. And we missed a lot of shots. They made shots. We missed a lot of shots. They made them. We missed them. And we missed layup. They made layups. We missed them. And that's what happened. And I'm like, one of the greatest college coaches in the history of the game. What are you talking about? Well, see, we missed them. We missed them. They made them. And that's how that happened. And I'm like, that's what you got? All right. Yeah. How long did Satan take? Dan Schwartz. How long ago did Satan take Howie's soul? I feel like it's been a while now. I wish I could do the math on it. John says Howie actually did his taxes and now he owes the devil. That's pretty funny. Wait, Mally, the other guys, classic? What did I miss? The other guy, there was another guy. Oh, God, that's the Peacock line. Yes, of course. Good pull, John. Good pull. When you can out movie quote me, that's a good pull. One Guapo, what's up, buddy? When Cox renegotiates, I hope he gets paid to cover the screens. Now, that would be a great move. That would be a flex by Howie Roseman. And if you see right here, note in section 4, paragraph C, you got to cover screens. Half of this money is to cover screens. I'd love to see it. That's something that you could fake on Twitter and it would take off. That'd be fun. By the way, we got a couple more TikTok subscribers, so we're inching closer and closer to 1,000. I think I am going to do the apple on the fork. That just looks funny to me, and I think I'll just make that sound and provide the soundtrack because I don't. That's probably the biggest boomer part of me is that I have no idea how to add the sound on TikTok. Okay, Jim, your neighbor has 2 peacocks. I just need for you to confirm what's going on there. Let's see here. Okay, now we're getting to the area of me not taking a girl out because she had bad breath. Yep, I'm a horrible human being. April. So word is they're finally opening up a Wawa in North Carolina. One of them might be in the Outer Banks. That's a sign the chat check needs to meet up at a Wawa. I'm down. I love the Outer Banks. Love the Outer Banks. What is it, Corolla? Is that the Corolla? Corolla, I believe. And what, they got the Duck Island or something like that? I love the Outer Banks. Good time to die. I love the Outer Banks because you could go down with a bunch of people, rent one house, and have like 50 people there. And you could go the entire time in that one house without seeing like 40 of the 50 other people. Like that's how monstrous the houses are there. And you get a little tiny puddle pool. A little pool in the back is a puddle. And like everyone goes in. It's a great time. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Kevin Guest wants a legit Phillies pitching staff. So do I. Oh, Jim, thank you. Spot on, Farzy. My neighbor's Peacock just came over after your impression. We are communicating. To steal a line from one of my favorite comics, Brian Regan. We are communicating. All right. I know those tenured teachers. What? Alyssa says she's got the pack of mints by her. Good for you. Arm Zebra 80 was at the Flyers game last night. What a night. I'm sure it was. Pretty awesome. April also keeps a bag at work. Here's why my wife is terrible. All right. See, my wife, she's a lady. And I always tell her she's the worst female ever. Like she's the worst girl ever. And I mean that in the most stereotype way possible. So I don't want to be confused here. I don't want to confuse anybody. She never has mints. She never has gum. She never has even hand lotion in her bag. And whenever I ask for chapstick, she hands me that off-brand, whatever that beeswax crap is. And she goes, oh yeah, I have chapsticks. And then she hands me some foreign substance. And I'm like, I don't want to use that. Because everything but chapstick sucks. All right. And then she'll also pull this. She'll use this. She'll say, "Oh yeah, I got chapstick," and then she'll do the lip balm thing, right? She'll "Oh, here's the chapstick," and I'm like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "I don't want to put my finger in that, and then my finger's greasy for the rest of the day. No thanks." Perhaps I'm overreacting. Anyway, she should realize how lucky she is that she's got a husband that has a great impression of a peacock. But yeah, she never has mints. She never has gum. She never has all that jazz. And I'm like, that's literally your job. Literally, in the relationship. I should have put it in the vows at the wedding that you'll finally have gum. Anyway, by the way, I'm going to throw this question out. What time? 7:02, whatever. I want to throw this question out just to see if we get a couple of responses between now and the end of the show. Is there something in your house that your significant other doesn't do, or just something in general that somebody else, maybe you live with your parents and something your mom or dad does that just drives you crazy? Because I'm going to give you an example of I wash my hands at the sink, and then we have a hook next to the sink that's out of the sight line. It's on the side of the counter. And you reach down, you grab a towel, you wipe your hands on the hand towel, you put it back. If I wash my hands at the sink, I'm telling you folks, 99 times out of 100, wash my hands, go to dry them. There's no towel. It's been used because Mona Lutz has like spilled something in the house. My daughter's like spilled something in the house, or something happened, and they just took it and clean it up real quick with that, and then never replaced the towel. I rage at those moments. Unjustifiable red rage goes through my body. Is there something like that in your house that just drives you freaking crazy? That makes you just want to start punching things and cursing the gods? That's me. That's the one thing I got right there. Phillies have 8 designated hitters. Jim, you're not off. Little River Band in the car got 6 discs. The other guy's unbelievable movie. Laugh out loud. All right. Always have Little River Band. One of the funniest lines. First off, Dirty Mike and the Boys is hysterical. And then the other one is the Rob Riggle line. When they drive through the flat. I forget what they drive through. Is it cocaine? And they go, it looks like Scarface sneezed on your car. Like I just lose my you-know-what every time. Yeah, Suarez is back for the Phillies bullpen, so that's exciting. Oh, here we go. T-Bro leaves me with no toilet paper every time, and she knows I hate it. That's a perfect one. Here's the thing. With my wife, I'm like she's the one that doesn't reset, like put a new thing on the toilet paper. And here's something that drove me that I didn't know. Like it proves you never really know your spouse. We'd been married about a year. We'd been dating. My wife and I have been together for like 12 years, but we've been married now. It'll be 4 years in the summer. And I never knew this until after we were married. My wife did not know how to replace toilet paper. She grew up in a house where the toilet paper was just on like a spool. It wasn't like on a detachable thing. It just was there. You just put the toilet paper on top of it. Okay. So right away, she's a barbarian. She's a caveman. And then she went to college where it was just in the dorms. It was always just there. I come to find out, even after living with her for a number of years, by the way, in our apartment together, it was a spool. It was another thing you just put the toilet paper on top of. It wasn't the thing you collapse and put it on and then put it back. So we moved into our house. And I realized, she's like, oh, yeah, I don't know how to put that on. I go, okay, my wife studied at Oxford, okay? She studied at Oxford, like England, okay? She's pretty smart. The toilet paper, no. And even when I did teach her how to do it, you know what happened? She kept on rolling it out from the bottom. Like a savage! I feel like I come from a house of learned doctors simply by telling my wife it's supposed to be coming out from the top, but whatever. My wife's a wonderful woman, by the way. Let me just sneak that in. Losing no toilet paper. Oh, jackpots after dark. I like that. Farzy, with a wife like that, you need to invest in a man purse or a Merce. Maybe I just go knapsack. Maybe those knapsacks. Those things are back in style now. Who knew? Who knew we were all wasting our time in the early 90s by actually putting the fanny packs around our fannies, and you go sideways. You look like you're coming out of a war movie. Then all of a sudden you look cool. So, yes, maybe that's what I need to do. So, thank you to Jackpots After Dark. That's our chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to everyone that participated in the chat. Much appreciated. Let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. 76ers tip-off tonight in South Philadelphia with the Dallas Mavericks. Joel Embiid, questionable with a back injury, as I have stated earlier. Joel Embiid, last time he had that 35 points, 17 rebounds. So, I'm going to go ahead and take that at first value. Waiting for the line to come out. I would assume it would be around the Sixers right now at -5.5. And I could have sworn, ladies and gentlemen, Jazzport Fanny Pack got one the other day. Best purchase in years. Kevin, congratulations. Sean, I hope your wife doesn't watch the show. No, she's sleeping. There you go. What the heck's going on here? Ooh, Kevin, you just made me think twice. Oh, -2.5. Sixers -2.5 tonight, going up against the Mavericks. So I will take the Sixers tonight in that matchup. Flyers, they're right back at it tonight against the Ottawa Senators. Claude Giroux did not go with the Flyers, according to Anthony Sanfilippo Crossing Broad, as it looks like that trade will go through today, that he gets traded to the Florida Panthers. So that will most likely happen within the next couple of hours. So, and we'll see. I will reach out. I know Claude Giroux a little bit. I've hosted some charity events for him. I'm going to reach out, see if we can't get him on the show as a thanks for everything. We'll see what happens. Not to me, but to you. I'm not looking for him to thank me by any means. So we'll try to do that for you guys as well. Last night, if you didn't see it, it's worth a YouTube. It's worth a check out on Twitter. I can't use it because CBS is so protective, as you might assume, of their content. But last night, if you didn't see the cheerleader save the day in the, I believe it was the St. Mary's, St. Mary's Indiana game, the ball went up behind the backboard and got caught between the shot clock support and the backboard. So it's high up there. The referee stood on a chair and held a broomstick, could not get it down. They got a cheerleader come over. They got the male cheerleader dude to hold the little lady up, and she poked the ball. She grabbed the ball, took it down, saved the day. If you haven't seen it, biggest ovation of NCAA tournament next to the Hell Peacocks beating Kentucky. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Much appreciated. Make sure you guys hit subscribe on the old YouTube channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. And hit us up on TikTok as well, as we're approaching 1,000 followers, and you'll see me do a very TikTok-like thing on that as well. In the meantime, here's what I hope happens by Monday. I hope the Flyers win a couple games. That'd be nice. I hope the trade goes down just to quit the anticipation for the Flyers with Claude Giroux, and they get something good in return. I hope Fletcher Cox resigns with the Eagles. I hope all that happens. And I hope Nick Castellanos, by the time we talk to you on Monday, is a Philadelphia Philly. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that. Next week, we've got him lined up, just not sure what day yet. Clay Harper, former Eagles tight end, now NFL analyst, former longtime Jaguar, 9-year NFL vet, Chicago native. And if you watch the show The Bachelorette, he was a dreamboat on that show. Clay Harper will come on with us to react to all the Eagles' moves so far and what the Eagles could be doing in the not-too-distant future. For those looking at the Deshaun Watson news, Deshaun Watson pretty much is down between the Saints and the Falcons. So right now, those are the two destinations Deshaun Watson has narrowed everything down to. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a phenomenal job as per usual. From the Steven Singer Studios, this is the Farzy Show, presented by Destination Retirement. Have a great weekend, everybody. Talk to you on Monday. See ya.